Hey everyone, I've been doing a lot of streams recently over on my Twitch channel, and it's something that I want to start implementing this year as far as content. So if you guys could do me a favor, head over to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Schmitty2323. The link will be in the description as well. If you guys enjoy my content and are interested in live streams, I'd appreciate if you guys could stop over there and hit me with a follow. So hope to see you guys out there, but without further ado, let's get into the video. What's up guys, Schmitty here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and the 2x tier progression that we're going to be seeing here very soon. So just yesterday in Black Ops 4, we got one of our bigger updates as far as a game settings update that we've gotten. It mainly brought some changes to Blackout and Zombies as well, but it did include some other things about multiplayer and something very exciting that I think a lot of people have been looking for. So first of all, to cover one thing from the Blackout side of this update, if you guys do play Blackout quite a bit, the 9bang was removed, and it looks like it's going to be a temporary thing for now. They're going to look and try and find its place in the game, but for right now, there is no 9bang in Blackout, which I know is going to be good news for a lot of people. I know the 9bang was something that was very annoying. But getting back to the multiplayer side of things, the one big update that we saw integrated in yesterday's update was the change of some game modes. They switched out gun game. I don't know if it's still in the game, but it's no longer the featured playlist. They added in Team Tactical Mosh Pit, so this is the 3v3 thing that we haven't really seen recently in Call of Duty games. We saw them so much back in the past, especially like the Modern Warfare series. And they're back, so it's 3v3, I believe. TDM, kill confirmed, search and destroy. There might be domination in there as well, but it's basically just a mosh pit of smaller teams, so only playing 3v3. There's also a few more like mercenary playlists added in, but getting into the one big thing that a lot of people have been talking about, a lot of people have wanted to see, we've been talking so much about this contraband stream in Black Ops 4. Now the progression of it just isn't really fair, especially with COD points being added in. It just seems like it's really the only way that the average person would be able to obtain tier 200 is by having to throw a good amount of money toward this thing to be able to reach that, because the average player, just based on playtime and without challenges, which is hopefully something we see soon, without any of that stuff, it's just really not a practical thing to achieve. But we do have some good news coming our way this weekend. We're going to be getting our first 2x tier progression weekend. So similar to double XP, double weapon XP, we saw double crypto key back in Black Ops 3. This is 2x tier progression, or double tier progression. You're basically going to be ranking up your tiers twice as fast. So right now it takes like 6-7 games somewhere in there. I think it's roughly 45 to 50 minutes of in-game time. That's going to be dropped to in the 20s, somewhere probably around 25-30 minutes, which is good. You should be able to fly through those tiers now, at least for this weekend. And it kind of sucks it's only for the weekend. Now I will get into one more thing Treyarch said. They did say we're going to be seeing some other ways to just boost through some tiers here very soon. I'm assuming they're going to be implementing challenges in some way for this thing. This is really the only thing that makes sense. We need some kind of way to accelerate our way through these tiers other than just a few days of double progression. But hopefully shortly after the weekend we see those implemented. Hopefully Monday or Tuesday we see challenges for the tiers finally come into the game. But I wanted to get into one more thing here with why they may be doing this double tier progression, because a lot of people are like, why are they only doing this for a weekend? This double tier progression is how it should be, and I'm sure that after a lot of people play this weekend and they get used to that double tier progression, they're definitely not going to want it to go back. But I think that there's a couple of side reasons that they're doing this other than just throwing out a double progression weekend like they do for so many of the other things in the game, because I feel like they hear us loud and clear with our feedback with the tier progression system and it not being ideal for us players to achieve. And I feel like with them implementing this 2x tier progression weekend, it's going to allow them to really test the progression in the tier system and see what the ideal value should be for this thing to make it fair without making it too easy. So let me explain. When this thing first came out, it was by and large far too long to be able to progress through tiers. That was a pretty easy thing for them to see. That wasn't something that really needed testing. It was just way too long. It was 20 plus games just to get through one tier. It took 2-3 hours of game time to be able to get through one tier. That obviously was way too long, so they dropped that down dramatically. So now it's in a much better state, but because of how many tiers there are and the limited time of it, it just doesn't factor out to being something that's going to be that ideal for players to achieve. And I'm sure they would like to listen to a lot of the feedback to be able to drop this thing lower, but I also think they don't want to overdo it, because I'm sure they don't want to make this thing too achievable for players, but I'm sure deep down they would like anybody that does put in a good amount of playtime to be able to get through this system. That is, unless of course Activision is keeping them from wanting that to happen. But staying on the optimistic side, I'm sure that they want to make this thing achievable, but they don't want to just give it out to everybody. And if they were to drop this thing any lower and they ended up dropping it too low and people got used to it and then they kind of reverted it back, it could just cause a lot more friction with where the community wants to see it, as opposed to where Treyarch wants to see this thing. So the best way to get a test out there is to just double the tier progression, and then kind of get a good idea from there what the best spot to put this thing is. So they'll get the value that it's out now, and they'll get the value doubled of what it is now, and then they can maybe find some middle ground in between there to where they think this thing actually should be. That's what I'm hoping, at least. That's just pure speculation on my part, but I feel like that's at least something that they're going to pay attention to. I mean, they have no reason not to. Because, I mean, there's been plenty of feedback out there and a lot of, I guess we'll leave it as outcry from the community to lower this thing down and to make this more achievable. And I feel like by just advertising it as a special weekend, it allows them to test it without, you know, making too many changes, which will just kind of cause more friction in the community. So I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping that that's something they're looking into and they're not just, you know, gonna do a 2 times progression and then just never talk about it again. Hopefully this allows them to get some data in and look at what the best spot to put this thing is for progression. But again, we should be seeing challenges here sometime, hopefully next week. Treyarch said they were coming soon, just like right around the corner. So to me, I would hope that would be in about a week's time, because I think PlayStation's down to about somewhere around 30 days now. So they're coming down to about halfway through their cycle for this First Strike operation. They don't want to be waiting too much longer to put challenges out in this game. But anyway, this weekend, grab your G Fuel, grab your Adderall, grab your sweat towels, grab your Gatorade, whatever you need to make it through this weekend, because it should be a sweat fest with one of the most asked for things coming to Call of Duty this weekend with 2 times tier progression. I'm looking forward to it. I want to bust out some tiers this weekend and get my progression up there and hopefully make this level 200 thing a lot more achievable for me. I really don't want to have to use COD points to make it there, even though I've got a bunch of them from pre-orders and stuff. I'd like to save those for Blackjack Shop, which is another thing that hopefully we see here pretty soon, but I guess that's a whole nother topic for another video. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think this 2 times tier progression is something that they may be just using as a test to be able to see where they want this final thing at? Do you think it's just something that's part of their regular schedule that they're going to be rolling out, like double XP weekends, double weapon XP, and they're going to be just rolling out some double tier progression? To me, if this isn't a test and they're going to keep the progression the same through these tiers, I hope that they bring at least 2 of these weekends during each of the 53-day seasons that they're bringing in for these operations. I think that would only be right, because then that'd be a good 6 days for people to be able to get this thing twice as fast as normal. But really just keeping fingers crossed for these challenges coming soon. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to smack the Schmidt like button down below if you guys are new to the channel. Looking forward to reviewing content. You guys know the place. The subscribe button down below as well. In terms of notifications on to get on those videos, go live. Hopefully you guys all have a good one. I will see you guys on another video. So long, everybody.